After you.
After you. No.
Following on from our previous video, here is the long-awaited tech talk on the Alpinestars Tech Air 5 Plasma. We also have the Tech Air 5 here just for reference, so we can show you some of the differences more in depth and yeah, see what you guys think. But otherwise, let's start with the Plasma.
Yeah, this is a product that both Josh and I have used for a long time. Josh himself has clocked up almost 1,500 hours worth of use on this product over a few years. It's a really technical bit of kit. We've both been massive advocates in the stores. If anyone's ever come and visited us for airbags, we think that genuinely for most people, if they're within budget, the level of protection that they offer is just unparamounted. Whether that be an airbag from another brand or an airbag from Alpinestars, but both Josh and I chose the Tech Air 5. That's now been replaced by the new Tech Air 5 Plasma. First thing first, the main reason for that is the use of the Alpinestars Plasma back protector in there, which is going to be a much lighter weight, more flexible back protector than you've got with the previous Tech Air 5. This is something that designed to work in relation and in cooperation with your body heat to be softer, more flexible, more comfortable, but upon impact, should one ever happen, become solid and protect and absorb that impact really well. Comfort-wise, it should be a lot better, I think, for us. It's one of those, not that this is particularly bulky, but you do notice the back protectors there.
Yeah, so I found, at least from experience, and you will probably find the same from using the Tech Air 5, when you've got it on, feels great, feels fantastic, but just even putting this on, within the stores, just trying them on compared to the 5, you do feel a much different feel to it. It's a lot more kind of hugging and fitting for the body. Feels a lot lighter. It's officially 25% lighter than the Tech Air 5 is, which, even though it doesn't seem like a lot, does make a huge difference when out and about. In terms of kind of the style of course, as you can see, some of the features that make it feel a bit kind of more hugging and body fitting is these kind of stretchier arms, whereas the Tech Air 5 arms were a bit more kind of baggy. They didn't really get in the way of anything. If you're wearing leathers, maybe it wasn't ideal, whereas this just fits significantly nicer underneath the body, underneath the jacket, as opposed to this one here.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different aspects. There's lots of really nice sort of evolutionary changes with the Tech Air 5 Plasma over the Tech Air 5. We'll sort of try and go through all of those. But I suppose, as we've got it on the back, we've looked at that airbag, as in the back protector there on there that holds the airbag canisters and things in place, which is actually a big part of the comfort as well, and how they achieve that massive change in weight of it being a 25% lighter product. So I'll unzip this again, but whilst I'm doing that and opening this up, Josh, of course, can just go through what you'd find behind here if we open that up.
Yeah, of course. So where this is a sealed unit, and as most people are aware, these come over to us at Infinity Motorcycles, and specifically serviced with myself and Henry at Farnborough. This is obviously sealed to the customer. When you do open it up, what you do find different to the Plasma is you'd have two canisters here, the rest of the, kind of the wiring and everything as such underneath as well, but it is locked away between the two screws, and it's a little bit more complicated. It's kind of not as easy to kind of follow, and this makes it nice and really simple in comparison. But that's kind of one of the main differences, obviously, with that is the reserviceability and rechargeability on the customer's end.
Yeah, that's one of the big things as well, is obviously there's the massive light-saving implication of having the one canister instead of the two, changes it over to something that's there. But not only have they just reduced the canister, they've actually made it where it's one canister, it's bigger, it's more efficient. So one canister will inflate the whole bladder, meaning that it's a quick reaction time, works really well, saves that weight, but also, as Josh talks about, it's then the serviceability of the product. So you as the end user can service this yourself. So if you are unlucky enough to have to use it, of course, hopefully you're feeling all okay afterwards, but it's just a process of removing the canister. You unplug the sensor at the base and you get a tool in with the box that you'll screw in to the bladder at the top. You unscrew this, you put it into anything simple like you might have at home, like a bicycle pump, a foot pump, anything essentially with just the matching thread. You can inflate the bladder, look out for any particular signs of wear and tear. Obviously, this is something you can remove, the bladder can be removed from the product, so you can look at it really closely. All the instructions on how to do that are in the manual. You can also find them via the QR code on the back here, but that all fits in. You can look out for leaks, look out for any signs of abrasion, anything at all that suggests actually you need to not reuse this bladder. But in most circumstances, you're going to be absolutely fine, because this bladder actually supports up to 6 detonations, which is massive. The previous Tech Air 5 only supported up to 3. And that then means that after 3 incidents, if the bladder isn't damaged before that, you're having to look at your full service charge of about £299.99, which is the same cost replicated with the Tech Air 5 Plasma, but instead of 3 detonations, you're looking at 6. So big jump up, great value save in there as well. I think saves a lot of money for those users, and also realistically 6 accidents, 6 detonations is a lot. So shouldn't be something that's really needed to be done regularly, if at all. But yeah, otherwise that all then hides away behind there. I think that's everything from behind the canister.
Yeah, it's worth noting that as and when the canisters do come available, we're looking at about £95 per canister, which obviously efficiency-wise for those maybe track goers who are having on average a few more offs than your average road rider, makes it a lot cheaper, whereas the 5 before was a minimum of £200 for the recharge, obviously where it's more of a full service and has to come over and take the time as well. So this is, it's a fantastic option for those, especially for some of the track users who are at more risk of coming off. It's a lot more reusable in that sense, but also financially a little bit cheaper as well.
Yeah, and one of the other things actually before we do switch this over, and one of the things that both Josh and I have had lots of sort of like discussion about, and how Alpinestars maybe could have done it better with the first iteration, but it worked. It was a system that we both loved. But is the off-on switch here on the back, meaning that when the device is in transit, if you're moving it, you're going across to a European track day, or you're for whatever reason flying with this, or you've got it in a backpack and you're traveling to wherever it is you need to go, you can just switch the device on and off for that then safe transit mode. So what Alpinestars does is shipping mode. This then just means that the vest is inactive. You don't have to worry about what otherwise you've got to do with the Tech Air 5, where as soon as that tab touches, the device itself turns on, becomes active and sits itself in standby mode, ready to use, but means you're wearing through battery. There's then an increased likelihood for possible accidental detonations, of course. It's something that we've not really ever heard of happening, but is entirely possible. Of course, that means that you've then got to fold that back and make a little bit of an effort just to ensure those contacts never touch. The new one, if we just sort of put this all back together, is a much tidier solution for you, obviously with that on-off switch there, but you've also got on the inside, on the front, then a controller here at the front, but means that you don't have to worry about having this sit, your magnetic catch there, all hidden away. The device does that all for you with the on-off switch, and covers you. But now that we've sort of like turned it on over and looking at it from the front, the actual turn on of the device, the ignition of the device is a much easier, much smoother process. It's something that Alpinestars have worked on. First of all, with the zip, changing over from this, something that some people found quite fiddly. I don't know, Josh, if you're able to just show the magnetic zip at the base there.
Yeah, of course. So with that, it was always kind of, it's a handy feature when you get used to it. It is really good. However, what we do find is some people over time kind of just, maybe they haven't quite got it, or, you know, these, because they're magnetic, they can kind of catch small magnetic kind of metal debris in there, and they might not work as well. People kind of just get frustrated at them. So I think it's a really nice touch, and I've seen this on kind of other motorcycle jackets in general. But I think going to a more simplistic zip, especially with the way it activates, to me, makes a bit more sense.
I think works for more people. You've then got a magnetic catch just higher up on the zip, which is all built in. You don't have to worry about this tab, which is something that could get caught and you know, get tucked out of the way. That just closes, you zip it up. There's then haptic feedback actually that you get from the product, so it vibrates on you, so you know that it's turned on, you know that it's turned off. Something that we did have with a lot of people when you've got all your gear on, you've got of course your jacket on over the top of these, is, oh, I can't see the LED panel, how do I know it's on? It's, oh, well, you trust the product. But for everyone, it's not a case, and it's not as easy as trusting the product. Sometimes it's wanting to know and have that feedback to say that it is on, it's active. With this, you do get that vibration, which actually is something that Dainese been doing for a while. So we're really happy to see that Alpinestars have borrowed that with the new Tech Air 5. But once that comes on, your LED panel displays. This device is sort of brand new out the box. It hasn't had its initial charging set up, so don't worry that they're not lighting up. But what you would see, if it lit up, you'd have your LED battery level indication. All LEDs would at least flash once so that you can confirm that they're working. But from there, it then sets itself in standby mode in whatever rider mode you've got. And talking of rider modes, that's also one of the big changes you've got with the Tech Air 5 Plasma, changing from just street and race mode with the Tech Air 5, which was designed to, on the street, cover you for really any of your road riding, plus very, very light off-road riding, which was something Alpinestars added later into that. but stressing on how light that use is. It's generally gravel roads, say like the ride up to the ABR festival. Everyone comes in through the gates, rides up to pitch their tents. That's the sort of thing that this is aimed at. Whereas now with, of course, and then the track mode, which certifies you for all use on the track. So you're really high speed riding. And of course, what those different rider modes do is changes the algorithm that the device is running at the time. So it runs 1,000 algorithms approximately every single second, measuring your riding style, your lean angle, your braking speeds, your acceleration, your deceleration. So with that, this is just how those modes decipher, you know, when the airbag knows to detonate. Changing to the plasma, you've then got the addition of a new road. You've got the off-road mode added to this, which focuses more specifically on the enduro side of the off-road software. So for the style that most people probably find themselves doing. So for, you know, bit of light green laning, like harder adventure riding and things like that. But again, street, race and off-road mode. But if you are a dedicated off-road rider, you're probably still better off with the off-road airbag from Alpinestars. But yeah, I believe it's just a simple button switch, just holding that button there. You can change through your modes, a long press actually to turn the device off, but turning it on is always with that magnetic catch just there. Yeah, so it's about a 2-second press for the button there to switch for the modes. You go in 2 seconds, pull it off, and then it will change the colours and into the correct mode as well. Now, with a 5-second hold, as Henry said, that will turn the unit off, which is handy for those that want to kind of leave it worn, but also off. So obviously, as we mentioned, the off switch is great for transport and longer periods of time. Maybe you're putting it away for the winter, you don't ride through the winter. Awesome, you can turn it off manually, but if it comes to kind of maybe you got to a nice bike cafe, you want to sit down, but you still just want to not have this, you know, like kind of half zipped up like you have to do with the Tech Air 5, you just hold that button down 5 seconds, it turns it off. Just to return it on, it's a zip down, sensor away, and then it's a zip back up again, and it would kick itself back into life. With that, you've also got the Type-C charging just on the underside of that controller there as well. So it does kind of hidden away quite nicely in an area that is kind of less exposed to the elements, which is fantastic, being obviously underneath the motorcycle garment. But yeah, very easy accessible. There's also a Type-C charging port on the rear, underneath that back protector as well, where the canister is. There's another charge port there if needed. Yeah, and then with the Tech Air 5, obviously that's sort of like a general sort of like summary of some of those key changes, but what's the reason otherwise to you know, look at the Tech Air Plasma over the Tech Air 5? Of course, you've got that 25% sort of reduction in weight. You've got the self-service capacity there. You've got the additional rider modes. You've got generally a sleeker, lower profile design as well. So the other advantage of that update to the back, the change in fabrics that Josh mentioned about the fit on the arms, is this fits almost more like a base layer. So it's a lot more comfortable. In fairness, not that this was uncomfortable, but it was, you were wearing an additional layer. With this, it feels much more natural in your movement. It moves with you. There's a lot of elasticity there. There's a lot of flexion. But another reason for that, and the advantage of that reduction in weight, the advantage of the change in fabrics that Alpinestars have worked really hard, and of course isn't just sort of cheap fabric they've used, it is really technical stuff. So you've got sort of breakdowns of percentages in there for like elastane and things like that, just ensuring really, really good and effective breathability. So this is going to be a much cooler product to use in your summer climate. The nature of airbags naturally is that they don't breathe, they hold the air in so that they can inflate and protect you as well as they can. But the new materials used in this, the new layout of the airbag, still offering you 360-degree coverage, only broken by that zip, but covering a more focused area targeted to where you need that protection most. Up over the body, around the rib cage, of course, around to the back, over the shoulders and down over the shoulders as well, sort of covering and sitting at the top of the bicep, but meaning that there's much better ventilation, it's much cooler, it's more comfortable in warmer climates, and yeah, it's going to be better then for, say, that addition of the off-road mode when you are exerting yourself, when you're generating your own heat, you are working hard on the bike and exerting yourself, and you need that slight cooling. Alpinestars work really hard on their sort of 3D mesh at the back of the Tech Air 5 to encourage that and allow that to work, say, like a heat sink, to try and draw that air from you. They still use similar technology with this. It is just done in addition with those new fabrics on there, making it a much cooler, more comfortable product to wear. But the main reasons for the Tech Air 5 Plasma is really that it's going to be, as the Tech Air 5 now being discontinued to be replaced by this, is going to be that, you know, who wants the Tech Air 5 Plasma? Who's this perfect for? Really, this is for the person that probably spends the majority of their time on the road, but does occasional track days, maybe does a little bit of light off-roading as well and things as a hobby in their pastime. But this is a jacket really and an airbag designed to work for the masses. So it's an airbag that offers one of the largest coverage ranges out of those. Of course, is beaten by the Tech Air 10, say from Alpinestars, which does offer extend down to hips, but it's very much a race-focused product. And then you've got, say, the 7X, which has a longer back protector, but a much shorter coverage in the body. So designed for that more aggressive leant over position, a more sporty focus. So again, more focus on track days with occasional road riding, or you spend your time on a very aggressive sports bike. But for the masses, the Tech Air 5 Plasma is really going to cover you the majority of the time and work across a whole variety of riding modes, a whole variety of bikes, a whole variety of gear. And yeah, I think work for most. It's a really nice change from the previous.
It's also quite good for those kind of, maybe not really like riding bikes all the time, but more so kind of just those who do it leisurely and who want that safety aspect to their riding. Realistically, there is no better option than an airbag, at least in this day and age, for protection. I mean, figures wise, you may have heard us say it before, but you're looking up to about 95% impact reduction when these airbags work at their best, which is absolutely incredible. You know, it's extremely close to that 100% mark, which would then in theory be you feeling nothing. So it's something that I think for all sorts of riders, obviously within budget, these things don't come cheap. However, they are incredibly good at what they do, and if it's something that is attainable, there's no reason not to at least consider one and do your research into it. The Plasma being one of the better options on the market, and at least from, I think, Henry and my perspective, it's something that we would say that would probably be the best one going for the average rider. However, obviously there are plenty of other options out there if needed. Yeah,
and from there, it's I think just a case of, you know, those key tech points that follow from the 5, follow from the rest of the Alpinestars family, is, you know, their detonation times. You're looking at the detonation that the process starts generally within sort of about 0.2 to 0.5 of a blink, 0.2 to 0.5 of a second, which is about the third of a blink of an eye. So really, really quick, very, very fast reaction times, and then is generally fully detonated within that first half a second, within that first second, and lasts, you know, holds its pressure for approximately 3 seconds. The reason for that being your average crash is about 2 seconds, but holds its pressure and then starts to deflate gently and slowly over 60 seconds, meaning that for whatever reason you are covered if you need it. You've got, yeah, like Josh says, that 95% impact reduction rate, which when you look at that physically, try and mentally image that, you're looking at about 21 level 1C back protectors stacked on top of each other. But of course, that's not just on your back, that's on your rib cage, down over your shoulders, on your front, around your chest. But yeah, it covers you brilliantly well. It is important to note though that this is, yeah, a product, obviously we sort of touched on it briefly before, but this is a product that sits underneath a motorcycle jacket, so it doesn't cover any abrasion resistance. This is purely designed to offer that impact protection that you'd want to wear underneath your motorcycle jacket. In that motorcycle jacket, you just want to allow for an approximate golf ball's worth of space down the length of the zip. The reason for that is just allowing enough space for this to inflate within the garment. You're not going to be at risk of the airbag injuring you. You're not going to be at risk of the airbag damaging your jacket. You're made really nice and strongly, as is your jacket, but it's allowing this to inflate to its full capacity to protect you as well as it can do. From there, ideally, you want jackets that have got a good bit of stretch to them. But other than that, you can really wear this with anything, which is where it does better than certain like subscription-based products, which you have to buy the targeted airbag product to fit with it and then pay your monthly fee. Whereas with Alpinestars, you've just got this product. It's autonomous. It works. Goes with everything that you could ever want to buy, and just, yeah, does really nicely. Really, it's a case of, yeah, just sort of coming down, trying one on, seeing how it fits and feels, and going from there. Obviously, we're always happy to answer any technical questions over the phones. We've got our stores, we've got our website team as well. But yeah, always happy to help. But yeah, I'm trying to think where to go from there. Really, it's a great bit of kit.
Yeah, on that, I'll just say a quick note on the jacket fitment. Anything Tech Air ready from Alpinestars, the majority of Tech Air ready goes from Alpinestars, allows you to wear this underneath the jacket without requiring additional space. They've got the stretch built into the garment, so this can go off appropriately, but also have the jacket fit as it should. And then the only last thing I think I touch on is charging. So first time purchasing the product, recommend a 12-hour charge from kind of start use, or if you're pop into a shop, maybe ride home with it, then do a nice good 12-hour charge on it. After that, from 0 to 100% battery takes 4 hours. That gives you roughly 30 hours of ride time. And then if you're in a pinch, an hour's worth of charge gives you 8 hours of riding, which is absolutely huge, which is quite handy to know. But apart from that, I think we've covered most bases. It's a fantastic product, yeah, as Henry said, absolutely. If you're interested, pop into your local Infinity, maybe give them a call ahead of time to make sure they've got the right sizes available. But yeah, I can't stress how much, if you're looking at airbags, this is definitely one that's worth considering.
Yeah, and the only other thing would probably be to mention the app, which, if you're familiar with the Alpinestars airbag range, is something that you'll know how it works already. But for those who are otherwise considering this as their first airbag or just looking at getting into it, I mentioned just before about the comparison with, say, like your subscription-based products. With Alpinestars, it's not the case you've just got the product to the best of its capacity forever. But how do Alpinestars ensure that you've got that? So when you buy the product, it's worthwhile downloading the Alpinestars Tech Air app. Don't worry, this isn't something you then have to use forever. You don't have to rely on having your phone on you to use the product. It's completely autonomous, but the app is detrimental to, and is really, really useful to have, and is something that you do need to have with that. When you set up the app, you scan the QR code, it'll make an account, it'll establish this on the vest. You'll be able to look at the product, look at the amount of hours runtime. You'll be able to look at status updates, whether it needs looking at by a service technician or if there's any issues. But you also get features like the sort of the riding feature of the app, so you can look at your riding routes. You can measure and monitor where it is you've been and have like a log of where it is that you go riding. But the most important one is the software updates. So periodically, once, twice a year, Alpinestars, their system learns from accidents, learns as they get smarter, and they give you that as a part of the product. So they will continually offer software updates for you. And yeah, the device will get smarter with you as you use it.
Yeah, I think that's covered most of all of that. I'm sure there's a few more pointers below. So if you do have any questions, then obviously leave them in the comments, and yeah, there will be a follow-up video on the Tech Air 5 Plasma regarding the servicing and the internals of changing it, what to do, the wash process, all that kind of stuff as well that we'll get to at some point. So if you're interested in that, obviously, yeah, leave a like. Any questions, let us know. But otherwise, that has been the Tech Air 5 Plasma.
Thank you.